Hey y'all, welcome. Hopefully the sound is good. If this is your first time here, hey, welcome. You might be catching the replay. I'm Patrice. This is my Patrice L channel. And I usually do like a lot of different things as far as like work with me's and just a lot of talking on this channel. Some vlogging, I do some vlogging sometimes if I go on a trip or if I'm just vlogging my day. Lately, I've been doing a lot of work. So most of my vlogs have been work vlogs because work doesn't stop. But hey, y'all. I'm going to get set up. I probably won't be on for too long because I have a So Good Tonight. It was supposed to be last night, but we had to reschedule it for tonight at 7 Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to do a little bit of this, talk to you about a little bit, and I'm trying to work on my cut settings, and I was doing better before. So I have my Caesar Romeo have been giving me a lot of problems. I wasted so much flock cutting templates because it was going just fine, and then all of a sudden it just stopped cutting all the circles. So it would cut some of the circles and then it would like skip over areas of circles. So I would have partial designs cut out. This one is all done, and then so sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't work. And then because I cut on the roll and I cut so many templates, I'm just cutting nonstop. I don't want to have to stop after each template has been cut and check it. So I eventually, because it kept happening, I stopped cutting. I stopped cutting my templates with it because it kept happening. I wasted so much flock because I'll send maybe like 10 or 15 templates through the machine at once. And so when it's done, I go and pull it off to take the templates off. And then I'm talking about templates that are decent sizes. So what I did was I told Patrick that I've been having just major issues with Romeo. That's why you guys haven't really been seeing me use it much, because it wasn't doing right. And like with any machine, these are things that can happen with your machines. It's not just, Caesar, Romeo, but any machine can have an issue. So, but they were finally able to help me. And so I ended up having to take the cover off of the carriage. There's like 4 screws that connect this cover to the actual carriage, and I kept it off just in case I needed to redo it. I'm going to put it back on. I'll probably put it back on in a few minutes. But I had to take it off, and there is a rubber washer that's around one of the shafts of the components that causes the blade to go up and down, the blade housing to go up and down. And so they told me, they were like, that might be getting stuck on the shaft. And so what happened is that I was able to tell them what the problem was, because I literally studied as it was cutting. Like I would put it on and I would just watch it. And then I noticed that the blade or the housing, sometimes it will go down and make contact with the material, and then other times it wouldn't go all the way down, and that blade was not cutting the material. And so when I told them that, I was like, I watched it. They were telling me, maybe it's the firmware. Maybe you don't have the most updated software, and I actually do have the most updated software. So I was like, no, all that is fine. So I told them what I saw, and then that's when they suggested I take the cover off of the carriage. Then where the rubber washer was getting stuck on the shaft, I had to actually cut it to kind of make it more loose. And ever since I've cut it, I haven't put the cover back on, but since I've cut it, I've been able to, like, all of the dots have cut through. So, oh, happy about that, because nobody ain't got time for that, y'all. So finally, but it's been a few months since maybe like November. And so every time I think, okay, maybe the machine's rested, I'm going to go and cut. It'll cut one right. And then I'm super excited that it's cutting it good. And then it doesn't cut it. And then, well, it cuts some of it. And then I've wasted block. So, such is life. Such is life. And nothing worked, like all the double cutting, extra pressure, none of that stuff. Even works. I'm going to reduce the pressure on this one again though, because it's not leaving the flocks behind. So I'm just doing a little bit of testing too, y'all, while we're here. But hey everyone, how's your Sunday going? I said a little bit earlier, but I don't know if anybody was in here. So Good is going to be tonight. It was going to be, well, it was supposed to be last night, but we couldn't do it last night. So it's going to be tonight at 7. We're not going to be on very long. I think we're talking about hoops, and that's going to be the topic tonight. We're going to talk about hoops, so it shouldn't be a very long live. And plus, Evie's coming on at 9, so we're going to be off by then. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So I intended on going on today about 4 or 5 to do this live, but y'all, so I got up this morning. I went to the gym and I set my alarm clock to wake me up because I wanted to make sure I got to the gym, but I know with time going forward and all that, I could be a little bit off. So I woke up, went to the gym. After the gym, I went to Ross to take some things back. I ended up buying a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't need. And now I'm here with y'all. And I want to make Chris's a shirt. I don't know what happened to my crafter hood template. So, and I had already cut like out a few of them. So we're going to just make a Chris's shirt today. But we're also going to talk about the widow's husband's secret lie. Rachel, me too. I'm so lost. I feel like I need to take tomorrow off of work too. No, it doesn't take much for me to feel like that these days, but I do feel like I may need to just take tomorrow off. So, but this was causing so many problems. It was causing weird hole sizes. It was causing missing holes. So I would have part of the design cut, and then on one template, half of it cut the right way, and then a little corner of space where the blade was not touching and cutting. So I'm actually very glad that that is kind of fixed now. I'm kind of glad that it's kind of fixed. So I just got to work with the pressure again because I had the pressure set good. But then now I'm like just all over the place with the pressure. But it happens and I'm going to be patient. But hey, everyone, let's see who's here. Y'all, so let me move my mouse pad over here because the Romeo is over here. I know you guys can't see it, but the Romeo is over here. And I'm going to put the cover back on. I'm scared to put the cover back on because I don't want to have to take it back off, but we'll see. But luckily they were able to tell me. Like I had to snip that washer and now I can see it going and it's good. It's good. It's not being stuck. And apparently that was the only problem with it. Rachel, nope, because part of it is like, so let's say for this design, right? So let's say the machine cut all of this good. Like all of this is not cut good. And I've already taken it off of the machine. So I'm not going to be able to line that back up. So all of this is cut. And then I have this area here where it's just nothing. But it's so weird. It's so weird. But it says it performed the motion. It performed the motion, but it didn't actually go all the way down to where that blade was making contact. When I tell you I have a lot of wasted flock, like a lot. Maybe like in total, maybe like a roll and a half, because once it like once it cut correctly, like I would test it out and say, okay, let's see if it's working today. It would work. And then I would be like, okay, it's great now. And then I would go ahead and send like multiple through at one time. Girl, it set me up big time. So, but it's fine. All right, let's see who's all here. Hey, everyone. Hey, Kelly Wyant. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Evie. Evie, I love my little Hello Kitty mug. I'm feeling very Hello Kitty-ish, Evie. If you guys joined us on Friday, we did lasers on Friday. It had so much fun. Evie, I shared our first, I think after that live, we decided to do Dateline. So Evie and I did a live like 3 years ago. I think that was 2022. We did a live 3 years ago, and we subbed. And I have the bag. I should have brought the bag in to show y'all. So we made tote bags, and I subbed some polyester fabric, and it had I think it was like a Dunkin' Donuts themed bag for me. Of course, y'all know I love Dunkin'. So it was just so fun. Like Evie walked me through that project, sewing it together, and we had a lining and everything. But it was really fun. I shared it on the Craftable Things community tab. Okay, I'm just checking to make sure that, because I see some raised raised holes. So it's possible that it's still too much force. That's been a problem. I think my force has been too high. It's just funny seeing how like the machine works. Like you can literally see the parts that make that housing go up. Okay, let's see if I missed. Hey Vera, no worries. Hey Marta, hey Rachel, hey Barb, hey Lachey, all the way Realty Group, Lita. What are you guys doing today? Hey Nani's Journey. What are you guys working on? And Daisy. That's what we're working on. So we can start our discussion. Well, let me open this up first. So I mentioned the other night that I had gotten this. Like I've had this now for a week. And I it's a yarn crochet hook kit. Thank you, Rachel. Rachel, I don't know how this is not. Hold on, let me go back. Let me go to my go to this video really quick. I'm sorry, y'all. I ordered this. I've had it now for maybe like a week, but I haven't opened it yet. Which I could literally do this. We could have just did an unboxing of all the things that's in boxes that I have not opened yet, that I need to open. I totally did that today. But I want to do the shirt that I need to make for Chris. I have the shirt here. It's already in here. I don't have the heat press on, but I need to finish weeding out some block dots that I have here. Did you guys see Eve's announcement about Bling Fest? She has a special guest and she has a special musical guest. This is so epic, Evie. Hey, Bear Bear. Hey, Shamika. Hey, Annette. Hey, Shay. I gotta go back and watch the replay. Girl, I was so off this morning. And then during the time when you were live, I was at the gym. And I was at the gym thinking, like, why am I here? Because the workout, usually for Sunday mornings, the workout is, it's always a good workout. But it's not as intense as it is like on Saturdays. I love going on Sundays before I do my virtual church. Y'all, he had us running. We were doing the rower. Like we were doing boxing. So he would do boxing and then he would spar with us. So he would spar with each person individually. As soon as you were done sparring with him, you had to drop your gloves and run, and you had to run, and then you had to come back in, and then after you ran around the whole facility, then you had to come back in and then you had to get on the rower and do 300 meters, and then go right back over to the boxing room. I was like, bro, you picked the wrong day to want to get up. Because when I was sick, I didn't really go. I didn't go at all. So I was like, you know what? I need to get back into the habit of going, because it's so easy to get into the habit of not going and not doing what you should be doing. So that kind of, I was like, you know what? I didn't want another week to go by without me actually going to the gym. So I made it, but I don't know how. Hey, Valerie. Hey, Beverly. So yes, I had to remove this off. If you're talking about the Romeo, Monique, I had to remove the cover from the carriage, and then there's two screws on each side, and I had to remove that. And then on the machine, there's like a black washer. Let me see. You know what? I'm gonna sign in. I'm gonna see if I can sign in on this other, on the phone, and show you in case this is your problem. Because, and then not just for rhinestone dots, but also for, like, if I had a regular SVG, so let's say I'm cutting out a square, it'll cut 3 lines of the square, 3 sides of it, and then the other side it wouldn't cut it. Like, it was just not going all the way down. And so what they told me was that that's because that washer is probably getting caught or stuck on the shaft, and so it's not going all the way down. So I'm going to sign in to show you what it looks like. And so all I did, you leave the washer on. It's a rubber washer, so you leave it on. But what I did was I took some of my small scissors. Okay. So I took these scissors, and I was able to lift that washer up and cut it. Because when I took it off and I ran it, I saw what was happening. It was true. The washer was getting stuck. And so what they told me to do is, and I didn't listen to that part, but they told me to get the pin adapter and put a pin in. I can't even find my pin adapter, to be honest. But they told me to put the pin adapter in and see how it worked. I didn't do that. Like, I put the blade back in, and I put a piece of paper. I put a piece of regular paper in. I just adjusted the force to see, how it would, if it would cut. And sure enough, it happened. And so I was able to see it. All right, let me see if I can go in, enter studio. I'm going to show you real quick so you can see if that's your issue too. Hey, Meredith. Hey, Tanyu. Hey, Rosalind. Hey, Renee. Shay's lasering tumblers. Yes. Hey, Stacy Aber. Stacy's making 30 shirts. That's what some appointments and dinners. The time change. That's why I'm like, I'm not going to be on for too long right now. Like, we're going to talk about the book. I might finish Chris's shirt. I might not, but at least I'm going to have the template set so I can do it. It's still Crafterhood. I don't know where the other template is. And I'm going to take a little nap in between now and the time that we're supposed to be on for So Good. Because if I don't take a nap, I'm not going to be any good. Eve she put it, look in her Facebook group. It's in her Facebook group. She mentioned about Bling Fest. I'm really excited about Bling Fest this year. I don't know what my schedule is going to look like, but I've already made plans to be at Bling Fest. So I have October, like, I'm not doing anything between October 20th and November 14th or 15th. Depends. Taylor's birthday is November 13th. So those few weeks, I'm not making any major plans. And so I should be able to attend Bling Fest. And I'm not committing to anything around that time. Shay, no. Not worked out for us. Hey, Nawan. Hey, Miss Sharon Davenport. All right, I think I saw everyone. Hey, Kristen. No worries. All right, so let me show you what I had to do. So maybe the size of it. Oh, okay. So Nani's journey, it may be the stones. Like you have to check the stone size. From Creative Fabrica, you always have to check that stone size. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna show what I had to do. And now it's cutting. See, at some points, that pressure is a lot too much. I always say a lot too much. I'm sorry. Oh. All right. Sorry. So I took the cover off, and you see that washer? You see the shaft that's going up and down? So over here, that one, what I had to do is I had to cut it because that black washer was getting stuck on the shaft. And so that was preventing it from going down. As y'all see, like it's cutting, you can see the dots. I may even reduce that temperature a little bit more because I have some that are raised like this, but I prefer that than to not have them cut out. I don't know if you guys can see back there. You can kind of see, maybe you can, maybe you can't. Some of them are extremely cut, but I'm not missing any dots. So that's what it looks like. I'm gonna put this back on. I was gonna put it back on now, but I'll wait a little bit. But that's what I just wanted to show Monique. So it's that one, and all you do, you see the washer still there. So I lift it up, I cut it. So I cut it to make an opening in the washer, and then I haven't had a problem since. I haven't had a problem since. All right, let's see. Awesome, Renee. Nice, Rosalind. All right. Okay, so you guys. Okay, so are you guys ready? Oh wait, I started opening this. So I have a new crochet hook kit, and this one, y'all. Okay, so look, it has like these ones that are like lucite material or clear. I think everything, but it's like a clear hook, but it's super big. What is that for? And then you can put them in. I don't even, oh, I guess this is maybe to charge it. So that way it'll, because this one reads the, I guess it's an extra hook or extra attachment, but this one reads the rounds and the stitches. So I'll be able to use that. And this has a light. So I guess the light, it'll help me to be able to see. Like all of these are kind of like that, except some of them are the clear ones, and then some of them are metal. So I don't know if I'll be able to see it through those, but I guess these larger ones I'll be able to see there. But that's the kit. So we'll see how that's gonna go. Interchangeable crochet. Kristen, girl, I'm getting fancy over here in my crochet era. I don't know what I'm doing still, but we'll see. We'll help with darker colored yarn. Okay. I'm going to test it out and see. No worries, Miss Sharon Davenport. Drive safe. Hey, Felicia. I'm going to test it out and see. I also got me some more pinking shears because I literally don't know where they are. I'm thinking that I might have taken them to the school. Remember when we were doing at the school, we were sewing with Chief. I think I might have left them at the school and they might have gotten lost somewhere because I can't find them and I haven't had them since then. So I'm thinking that could be what happened. And then I also got an electric rotary cutter. I think this is an electric rotary cutter, or maybe this is, y'all, I got so many things that's in boxes that I need to take out of the boxes that it does not even make sense. We're gonna get ready to. Oh, let me not lose my instructions. We're gonna start. We're gonna get ready to talk about the book. So if you're here, we're going to be talking about The Widow's Husband's Secret Lie by Freida McFadden. And this particular book, y'all, when I tell y'all it was so funny, it is actually a satirical novella, like a soap opera ish, right? Y'all, we need to see what I need to see what was the next book on the list that was voted for the most, because this was very short. It was a very short story. Freida McFadden books are super easy to read. You can get through them really quick. She generally talks about, it's usually like a thriller type of book. Oh, this is the cutter. So I bought a fabric cutter, an electric fabric cutter. Yeah, that's what this is. So this is an electric fabric cutter. Yeah, when I tell y'all I just be buying stuff to buy stuff, I just buy stuff to buy stuff. I just buy stuff to buy stuff. It was very yes. So I didn't know when we picked the book. So remember, like I picked the book just based off of the names of the book that everybody was giving me. So when I got it and I saw that it was satirical, I was like, let's go for it. Let's see. So it immediately starts out with her saying it immediately starts out with her like saying like the dedication in the book. The dedication in the book, she was saying like, oh, it's my cat. My cat walked over the keyboard or something. So it just starts with like a whole bunch of gibberish. And then she's like, yeah, no, why not? My cat, I can let what he says stay in, right? So immediately from there, I was like, oh my goodness. And so then when she's reading the prologue, and so in the prologue, she says, she's talking a little bit in the prologue, and then she says, like, oh, Steve's the killer. And then she goes, but nobody reads the prologue anyway, so nobody won't know. I don't know if I should have found it as amusing as I did. Needless to say, I'm not really like, I love things that make me laugh. Like I love to laugh, but if I'm reading a book, like I generally go with, I don't read romance books. I don't read comedic books. I don't read any of, like, I like intense thrillers or like intense autobiographies. Like I like stuff like that. So I actually found it very interesting, surprisingly. All right, so let's see. So how many of you guys read it? Like, Chris, I was like, what? So at first, like I was taking, like I thought it was, but when I went to order it and I saw, like, because I did the audio version because I wanted to crochet while I was listening to the book. So I did the audio book. And did y'all like the girl who did the audiobook? Like I thought that her reading it, like she was kind of so dry, and then she was supposed to be like, some of the parts I'm like is she supposed to be ditzy? Like what is that? Like I was just, the stuff that happened just was so strange. But I do have notes because as I read it, I wanted our live to be, meaningful, right? I wanted it to be meaningful. I even like typed up some suggestions and things on my computer. So yeah, pretty interesting. All right, so it started out with, if you have not read the book, just know that we're about to discuss the book. Hey, Dempsey Boo. Dimps didn't like the reader. So for the Dempsey, okay, try listening to it. I think for the book, for this particular book, and what it was for, they like, I felt like she was pretty good with her delivery of it, because it's not a serious book, and I thought that it was when we were talking about it, but it's actually it's meant to be, it's meant to be satire. So that's why I felt like, okay, she was dry. No, she was very, very dry. Kristen said she had to up the reader's voice. Hey, Miss Merlinda. Stacy said this book was a C or T. I think the reader is what made it funny, because she was acting dumb. She was acting so ditzy, Shamika. That's what I think it was for me. Like, that's like, because at first I was like, oh, am I going to be able to get through this? Right. But as I listened to it more, she matched the energy of at least I felt like she matched the energy of the character. Like, as I listened to it, I think if I were reading the book, I might not have finished it. Like, I might have been like, oh, I can't take this, right? But she actually, I think she matched the character. It's a weird book. It's not a serious book, y'all. So I know, Freida, this is the first book that she wrote like this. So this was her first satirical novella that she wrote like this. So think of along the lines of what's a movie that is kind of like, you think it's supposed to be serious. And in the book, she literally made fun of herself. She made fun of herself so much in the book, or she made fun of just like thriller stories and books and things like that. Like, she literally made fun of herself the entire book. There was even a part where she was like, one of the characters, she was reading a book, The Boyfriend. I haven't read that book yet. And so it honestly, look, y'all, none of my dots came out of this one either, but they all cut. I don't have any missing sections, so I'm happy about that. She was reading The Boyfriend, and then the neighbor says, what are you reading or something? And then she was like, oh, you've heard of Freida McFadden? And she was like, no. Like, did she write Harry Potter? Did she write 50 Shades of Grey? And she's like, no, never mind. I don't take much to entertain me with silliness, but it was kind of silly. So let's see, did you guys say who read it? So just know that we're going to be talking about this book in depth. So if you didn't read it and you intend on reading it, just know that we're going to be talking about it. Now, the book starts out with Alice. Alice is the main character in the story. So Alice is the widow, right? Because I'm going to have to read The Boyfriend. We have a few books. I'm going to see what other book was on the list that we were voting for, and then we'll just read the next one that had the most votes. And then, but I do want to get to The Boyfriend. Rosa, did you prefer to read it? Lucille and Ethel. Stacey A. Bear, that's it. Like, she just seems like she was just so ditzy. She was so dry and so ditzy. Hey, Evelyn Warner. She made, yes. Hey, Robin Murphy. The Boyfriend's really good. Hey, Karen D. The First Housemaid. Oh, the Housemaid series is really, really good. Did you guys peep how, okay, so the attic, okay, I don't want to get too far ahead, but she kind of referenced, and because I only really know the Housemaid series, I haven't read her other books, and I see that she has a whole lot. So the next book, we'll read a Freida McFadden book, unless you guys say, let's try another author for the next book. But we did, like, I read all the Housemaids, but she made reference to the Housemaid, like, they had the attic that could only be opened from the outside, that she had never went upstairs. Like, her husband told her never go upstairs, or, never go in there. Like, how are you living in this house for all these years and you only went to the second floor, but you know that there's other things in your house? Like, you never went to go look in there. So talked about that. And then did you guys notice Willie, their house guy? Like, housemaid Millie and Willie, and then how Willie just walked around with his shirt off. He was so hot. It was just so like he's cooking her breakfast with no shirt on. Like it was just like a lot of things was just yeah. It was because once I realized like when I got the book, I was already like, oh goodness, like because it really wouldn't be my thing to read that type of book. So I was like, oh, satire. And so I was just like, you know what? I agreed to read this book. We're just gonna read it. We're just gonna read it because nobody told me that it unless if you guys did tell me that it was satire, I did not see it in the chat. Like y'all know I can't see everything in the chat. So I might have overlooked if somebody told me that it was satire. But nonetheless, we all voted for it. And I do want, when we are reading together, it doesn't have to be a thriller or anything like that. It can be another genre of book. It doesn't have to be um, crime or thriller or mystery or anything like that. As long as we all vote for it, I'm gonna read it, and then we can always get together and talk about it. All right. So the book starts out with Alice. Alice is the main character, and so Alice, she's inside of the store, right? Alex spent a lot of time in the store, but she's inside of the store, and we discover that her husband has recently passed away, like 2 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks prior to that time of her in the store. And so at that time, we don't know, anything that happened that actually happened to him. We do know that at that point of the story that they had like a beautiful relationship. We know that her husband's name was Grant, and Grant had a little bit of money, right? So Grant was pretty, well off. He had his own house. Like a lot of things, he was married before to Roberta. So he was married to Roberta, and Roberta apparently mysteriously passed away. I think it was out at sea or something like that. I think Roberta passed away out at sea. And now, like, they were married, right? They got together. I think he met her inside of a store. So I'm trying to remember the story. I think he met her inside of a store, and they eventually went on a date, and they eventually got married, right? So at this point, all we know is that Grant is an amazing husband, right? He provides for her. He doesn't want her to have to work. And in fact, she's saying how she's over, getting shopping and being in book clubs and things like that. Like she's just tired of that lifestyle. That's kind of what she was saying. Like she was just over that lifestyle of, not having to work. I don't think it ever said that she really wanted to go to work, but it did say that she was over it. Right? Creative Notions, it had me laughing too. Hey, Jesse. No worries, Karen T. Out of the boat. Okay, thanks, Renee. So it was out of the boat. Well, Mr. Grant, he seemed to be an amazing guy, right? For what we know from that part of the story, he's amazing, and they're in love and all this other stuff. All right, so we are then introduced to Poppy. What did you guys think about Poppy? Now, I don't want to go all the way to the end, but that kind of left me a little bit, like I didn't have any closure with Poppy. So Poppy is her friend. It's like Poppy's like her best friend. And honestly, she didn't have any other friends come around inside of the book, the story. But Poppy is also her neighbor, right? But at the end, like towards the end, like there was some discrepancies with whether or not Poppy is real or not, right? She goes to the neighbor's house. It's like she didn't even know where Poppy lived. And then she goes to the wrong neighbor's house. But that neighbor said that, oh yeah, there was somebody that lived here 30 years ago by the name of Poppy. And, she lived here and she's, she passed away. Felicia, me too. I felt like even at the end, how Poppy came and saved the day, and with when we get to that point, we'll talk about it. But still, like I just didn't feel like I felt like maybe she was just not, like she really wasn't real. and don't never. But did you? So Shamika, did you hear when Poppy said that? Poppy was like, "Yeah, that's because I always come over to your house." Like Poppy made that comment, like, "Yeah, you know, you don't know where I live," something like that. But she was like, "Yeah, that's because you never come to my house. I always go to your house." So, all right. So Poppy is her neighbor. We talked about the characters, a few of the characters. So you have Alice, who's the widow. You have Grant, who is the husband. You also have a Poppy, who is the next door neighbor, and then you had Willie, who is the guy who does everything around the house. Like Willie was doing everything. Willie was cooking breakfast. Willie was doing the lawn. Like Willie was doing everything. Renee, Poppy just popping in all the time. Renee, that makes so Renee, that makes so much sense. Poppy just popping in. Poppy just popping in. The way the book, like, it was just so crazy. Now, I did already touch a little bit on. Oh, so also while she was in the store, like at the very, very beginning, we knew that she was being watched, or she felt like somebody was watching her, right? So from the very beginning, she felt like she was being watched inside of the store. Like she would look up, and then I think at that time she also felt like she saw like somebody who resembled her ex-husband. But of course, she wasn't thinking that, that was really him because she buried him, right? So she really wasn't thinking that that was him, but she felt like she saw somebody who resembled her ex-husband. Now, I forgot what she was getting from the store at that time, but we'll talk about things that she purchased from the store. All right. So we already talked about how this book is satire. It's intended to be funny. Freida, did I get the right thing? I did. Freida, she made fun of herself quite a bit. Even on like when she was reading the boyfriend, and she told her friend, and Poppy was asking about the boyfriend, she was like, "Yeah, I'm on page 2, and it's so good. I'm on page 2, and it's just great. It's wonderful." And then her friends, and then she says how and then after that, from page 2, she says how wonderful the book is, and then she says how, "Oh yeah, but I already know what's going to happen at the end." Like it's so predictable. And so that was for me, that was pretty funny because, girl, you just on page 2. Like, how you know about this book? But she made references to her books. Like, it was really like her poking fun at herself a lot. And let's see. Oh, she was getting shampoo. Yes. Thank you, Miss Linda, Shamika, Renee, and Felicia. And then wait, was this at the very beginning when she got, I thought it was later on when she got the shampoo, when she was getting the shampoo, but it was like lice shampoo. And then she was also getting the prenatal vitamins. And then remember, she saw the lady who worked with Grant. Was that the very beginning that she was getting shampoo too? And then she picked up lice shampoo instead of getting the shampoo that she wanted. And then when she saw the lady that Grant works with, who was like, "Girl, you have too many things in your basket. Like, you need to put something back because this is the 10 items or less line." Like, really? Oh, do any of you ever go in the 10 item or less line with like 11 items or 12 items? Tell me if you do that. Or do you be like, "You know what? I have too many things. I'm not going to go in this line because somebody has exactly 10 items and I don't want to go in there." Now, I don't know how I would feel. I rarely go into the store and get less than 10 items. I rarely go in and get less than 10 items. But tell me if you do that, because she was getting ready to go in the 10 items or less line, and the lady like put a stop to it. She was like, "No, you have more than 10 items." And so then the audacity of the lady to start looking through her basket. And then for her to sit there and let somebody look through her basket. That was too much for me. So no, because okay, so I was gonna say that maybe at that time she thought she was getting the pregnancy test, So they don't have any kids, y'all. Her and Grant, they don't have any kids. But apparently they wanted kids. Okay, they wanted kids really, a lot. Did you guys figure out why she put up the LED lights before they told us, before Freida told us why she put up the LED light? Did anybody know why she put up the LED light? Yeah, Miss Merlin telling her what she could back, like, girl, if you don't get out of my business and out of my basket. That's when she saw the prenatal vitamins. And so at that point, so I'm thinking that she found out maybe a week after her husband passed away that she was pregnant. Maybe she thought she was pregnant at that point. But at that time she had the prenatal vitamins, and then she goes and puts the prenatal vitamins back because she didn't want the lady to know that she needed to take prenatal vitamins. And she's like, oh, well, you didn't know that these were prenatal. Oh, I didn't even see, the label doesn't say it. And the lady who worked with Grant is like, it says it right here on the label, prenatal vitamins for a healthy brain or something like that. And I'm just like, this is so crazy. We didn't know that much about, because I remember, because the first, all we knew, like at that point, I remember that she was already feeling like she was being followed, and that she felt like it was her husband, like, she didn't, not that she felt like it was her husband, but that's what, she kind of sort of felt like. She knew that she had buried him. In fact, she even goes to the cemetery to just, double check and make sure everything is still intact at the cemetery, because she felt like she had been being followed. Even that second time when she was in the grocery store with Grant's coworker, she saw somebody outside the window that looked just like her husband, looked just like Grant, right? So that was. And then she went to go put them up. So she left so the lady was like, so she was like, oh, I'm gonna go put these up. Will you hold my spot in line? And she was like, yeah, but if you're not here when it's your turn to get rung up, I'm not holding it. Like, girl, you already been in this lady's business. You're the reason why she's taking all this stuff back and putting it on the shelf. And then when she was doing that, I'm like, why didn't you just give it to the clerk and tell her that you didn't need it anymore if you didn't have time to go back? Like, it was her in the grocery store or the whatever pharmacy, wherever she was. It was just a lot. All right, so I already told you guys things that I felt was weird, like her not going past the second floor. And then she kept hearing footsteps in her house. Like she kept saying like she heard footsteps. But she kept going back to, well, Grant says that, not to pay that any attention. It's just an old house, and those are old noises. But I found that she was very much so, like Stacey said, like Lucille, because one, later on in the story, we realized that her and Grant's relationship really wasn't all that good, right? We realized that something might have been wrong with Grant, okay? And clearly something's wrong with her too, but we realized that something might have been wrong with Grant. So at that point, I'm like, so you were listening to him and believing, like when he told you that, oh, it's nothing, it's just old house noises, and you're not really going to investigate it to see like what these noises are when you already knew that something was off with your husband. It was, yeah. So what else? Okay, so we talked a little bit about the LED lights. So she was under the assumption, so she was very surprised that she was pregnant because she had placed LED lights all around her house. And so this is something that Grant didn't know why she was doing it, but she had placed LED lights all around her house. And we don't know exactly why she placed them around, like at first. Eventually, the narrator does tell us why they're there. But at first, we don't know why they're there. But her and Grant doesn't have any kids at that point. Now she's pregnant. She finds out she's pregnant. They don't have any kids, but the LED lights were, she put the LED lights up because she was like, she saw on Google or somewhere that they prevent pregnancy. So that's why she put the LED lights up. Like, okay, like, well, maybe you were looking at some research-based article that says LED lights prevent pregnancy. Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there. Did I put this again on again? I didn't even put the, I want to put it on again, y'all. Sorry. I'm like, no. So LED lights prevent pregnancy. Yes, yes, yes. So this is another part. So she put up the LED lights, right? Oh, wait. Did I skip that part yet? Okay, so she put up the LED lights. And like Shamika said, she got it all mixed up. It wasn't LED lights. It was like, and when she said it to Poppy, Poppy was like, she's like, oh, they said if you put up an LED device, if you install an LED device or place an LED device, you won't get pregnant. The way she said it, all you would do is you would just replace IUD with LED. And so Poppy's like, huh? Because when she told Poppy that she was pregnant, Poppy was like, you mean IUD device? Y'all. Y'all, some of the stuff was just outrageous. It was just outrageous. So, of course, she thought she was pregnant, but come to find out, in which we find out at the end that she's not really pregnant, because instead of getting a pregnancy test, which she thought it was a pregnancy test, she had a COVID test. So her thinking she was pregnant, she wasn't. She had the big C that time. She was not pregnant. So when I tell you, like, you have to read this book not thinking that it's gonna be serious. Like, you have to read it just knowing that it's gonna be a whole bunch of foolishness and shenanigans, because that's really what it was. That's really what it was. So moving forward, we then find out eventually, we talked a little bit about Willie. We talked about the shampoo. We talked about that. So we then find out that she's the one. She doesn't read well. Something is wrong with her. Exactly, Renee. Then Poppy was mad at her, but Poppy got over it really quick. I was like, Poppy, you, like, that's what I don't understand. Like, I was trying to understand, but Poppy was telling her like real stuff, like, girl, LED, no, that's IUD. Like, Poppy was like the one with sense. So that's what I was like, well, maybe Poppy is real, because Poppy was like, so she went to the wrong neighbor's house to go see Poppy. The neighbor was like, whatever, Poppy doesn't live here. Poppy, passed away 30 years ago. But then when Poppy comes over, Poppy was like, you would know where I stay if you, ever came to my house. I live on the left. I don't live on that side. I live on the left. And so then she's like, oh, yeah. Alice is like, oh, yeah, that's right. She does live on the left side. Y'all. This is not a serious thriller. It is not a serious thriller at all. At all. She literally makes fun of just everything. Like, everything she does is different from The Housemaid. If you read The Housemaid, it's different from Housemaid. Just letting y'all know that. Okay, let's see what else you guys said. That was why those prenatal vitamins needed the brain boost. Exactly. It was just a lot. So, Rosin, you knew that so when she said LED, did you know that, like, To be honest, like when she said, I was like, because at first she was just saying, oh, you know, Grant didn't know I was placing the LED lights around, right? So we didn't know why she was placing them around at first. But then when the pregnancy came up and she was like, I don't even know how I got pregnant because I have LED lights all over the place. Girl, girl. Okay, so we thought at the beginning that they had like a storybook type of relationship. Everything was wonderful. He had lost his wife. He had found love again with Alice. This is what we thought, right? Well, we were wrong. So fast forward, well, into the book. What I kept wondering, like, I don't. So he buys her a dress, or he shows her a dress, or something like that. Which I was a little bit like, okay, Freida, like, why you did it like this? When we get to that point, he bought her a dress, or it was on the computer. He showed her the dress, and she's like, oh, what color is this dress? And she's like, oh, it's white and gold, or cream and gold, or something like that. It was gold and something. And he's like, no, it's blue and black. Blue and black? She's like, no, it's cream and gold. And he's like, no, it's blue and black. So he was literally going to force her to say that the dress was blue and black. Okay. Now, this comes up numerous times in the story. So he forces her to say that the dress is blue and black. Well, they get into argument. He gets upset because he's like, the dress is not cream and gold, it's blue and black. He leaves for a few days and he comes back. And then he said, he's asking her what color the dress is again. And then eventually she says blue and black. But because of that, like, he literally terrorizes her after that point, especially with the blue and black dress. Like, that was his dress. She had to say that it was blue and black. It was just a weird, that part was a lot weird. But the police officer comes to see her, and the police officer, first of all, did you guys notice how she said she had one of the dresses left in her closet and she saw it? This was kind of earlier on in the story. But then when the police officer, the detective, is introduced, I forgot what his name was. The detective is introduced, and he's coming over because he's like, hey, your husband's accident, it really wasn't an accident. His brake line was cut. And so that's what caused the accident. But in the back seat, he was like, he showed her a picture, and he was like, in the back seat, there was this dress in there, and the blue and black came up again. Of course, she sees cream and gold, but he's saying that it's blue and black. Even the cop was saying that it was blue and black. Shay, it was a hot mess book. Literally a hot mess book. That's what, Kristen, that's like, tell me what you guys thought about the whole dress thing, because I thought it was just super weird. Super weird, because how, like, did he have another one of the dresses in the back seat of the car? But I found that was strange, because once we get to the end and we know who was in the car, why would he have that dress unless he left it in there, on purpose? I don't know. Barb, me either. Barb, neither will I. But because when I ordered the book, I didn't realize that it was satire. And so, like, I was just like, oh, you got it. And we're going to discuss it. So you better read it. And so I read it. And luckily, it really didn't take long. I listened to it and I was crocheting at the same time. But I did find it to be amusing. I did. I found it to be amusing. The anniversary of the whole blue black. Listen to this. In any of the other books that she had, was there like a blue black dress or anything like that in any of the other books? Because I know like a lot of things that she made reference to things in like in some of her other stories. So that's kind of what I was thinking, that maybe she's maybe that was a reference to something else in another story that she might have might have written. That's what I was thinking, but I don't know. You guys tell me. Okay, what did Rosalind say? I'm touching the wrong mouse. Uh, I kind of thought that too, Beverly. I thought that too. I thought something like that was going on until we realized that they're both crazy. Literally. Her mind trying to make her feel like she was crazy as heck. Was she thinking from the start, or did he make her that way? Mm. That's an interesting way to think about it. Like, was she ditzy from the start, or like, is that how he wanted her to be? Like, I'm trying to think if I feel like she was like that from the start, but we would have to go back to like their relationship. But I mean, he was gone and she was still ditzy, Shamika. Like, she was putting up LED lights thinking that she was going to prevent pregnancy. Well, that was during the marriage. But she's still like, maybe reading was not an issue for her, because how you get a pregnancy test, but it's really not a pregnancy test, it's a COVID test. That was like, girl, and you're picking up shampoo. Like, anytime she picked up something in the store, like something was wrong. The only thing that she picked up that was correct were the prenatal vitamins. That was literally the only thing that she picked up that was correct. That was it. Hey, Dunzel. Didn't he? And he kept buying the same dress. He kept buying the same dress. So remember, she said that she kept one of the dresses, which I don't even know why if you hated the dress so much, why do you even keep one dress? But she kept one of the dresses, but she did whatever with the other dresses. Yeah, like her for being crazy. Something was going on. Okay, I remember the whole white girl blue black thing that was going on. I saw it one way, others the other way. So maybe that's what she was referring to, because she was, listen, the whole story, like I said, that I was going to dissect each little part that like was just a little weird, because there were subtle references to different things that she made light of. So Kristen, that's probably it. Let me Google it and see. That's probably it. Because she was just making references to a lot of different things. Let's see. Versus white and gold. Okay. Let's see. Kristen, girl, yes. Okay, so I just Googled it. And there was like a viral internet thing a while ago where some people saw it as blue and black and others saw it as white and gold. But they said that the actual color of the dress was confirmed to be blue and black. And there was just lighting that caused like the illusion of it being white and gold. So that's what. Listen, this is exactly what she was referring to in her book. She was putting like, so like it. The book is actually super funny, and she like I wouldn't generally like this type of book. In fact, like it was funny for me, but I would probably have given like maybe a C. But it was actually super duper funny. But like once I actually read it, and I'm glad that we're like talking about it. Like I started like writing my notes once when when I would hear something, I would just write it down, jot it down, like, okay, this, whatever, to make some type of comparisons to different things. I do feel like she did a great job with writing it. It got a C because this is not something that I would generally pick up to read. For me, like I wouldn't. This is not. I wouldn't. But maybe if this was like a movie, like something I could laugh at, I would probably maybe want to watch it. But reading it, not so much. But she was very clever with how she did this for it to be satire. You guys know what satire is. So I thought that it was very, very good, very, very, very well orchestrated. So these are ways. So now we know. We didn't say it yet, but she's the one who cut her. The detective comes to ask her, right? Because somebody called in a tip. Okay. Now the car has been destroyed, so they can't go back to the car to look at it. But somebody did call in a tip and say, "Hey, the brakes were cut on this car." So the detective comes by to see her, and so then we then learn that, okay, she's the one who cut the brakes for her on her husband's car. Now, by that point, I realized that she was a little bit ditzy. So I'm like, girl, how did you do it? Like, how did you know what to do? How were you even able to follow the instructions to cut the brakes? So these were all questions that I had when that came up. Okay. I was just like, but let me just tell y'all the ways that she wanted to get rid of her husband. Oh, Lisa said the same thing. See, I didn't even think. Some say, I just Googled it. Renee says she remembers that. Hey, Elba. Listen, after I bought the book, me too, Shamika. Me. I was like, you know what? Let's go for it. Barb, I agree. I agree. Would I prefer to read it? No. If I had known it was satire, I probably wouldn't have even included it. I would be like, oh no, it's not really, and it's super short. But I and this is like the first book, because after I had to go and see, like, has she written any more books like that? What other books like that does she have? Like, so I wouldn't get it and read it. But this was her first one. Now, could she make more? Because there is an audience for people who like these types of books. I mean, I think for that particular audience, she may do very, very well. But I think for somebody who generally likes the types of books that she normally writes, I don't necessarily think that that's, what they would read, unless they're just, they just love her and they're just going to support her and read her book. I mean, it's short enough. It was short enough for me not to feel like I wasted my time, because I was crocheting and listening to it at the same time. So, and I did get some nice laughs, like out loud laughs with this book. All right, so she tried to off her husband a few ways, and I can't even take these serious. One, she put hemlock in his orange juice. Then she said that she put nightshade in milk, that like in the milk that he puts on his cereal. And then she had the clever idea to put a banana peel at the top of their staircase. She put the banana peel at the top of the staircase. Y'all, like, you cannot even make up how silly some of this stuff was. You can't. You cannot. It was just, yeah, yeah. She put a banana peel at the top of the staircase. So that's, yeah. Oh, I should not find this as funny as I find it. I should not. It's a pop culture reference. Yep. I mean, I thought she did. I really thought that she did really well with doing those types of things. And maybe she was just trying out something, something different, something new. That's what I think. That she was just trying out something different. But yeah, let's see. So, okay, so let's move on a little bit. Let me see. I was saying, Miss Sharon Downpour, yes. Me too. Me too. This would not be a book that, but I am glad that I read. That's why I wanted to, like, if we're gonna read a book, y'all, it doesn't have to be a thriller or mystery. It can be other types of books that we can read. It's almost like Barb says, like, I'm gonna always stick to James Patterson, Iris Johansson. Like, I'm gonna stick to those mystery types of books, right? This was good for me while I was crocheting. Like, I found it amusing. I did find it amusing, so it was good for me. I think I would prefer to listen to these types of books as opposed to reading it, because I think I will put it down if I have to read it and move to another book. But listening to it, it was fine. And listening and crocheting, like, I was able to do something else while listening to it. That was good, as opposed to me, if I'm reading it with a book, I have to sit and read it. I know I would have put it up. I know I wouldn't have been able to make it through. Right. Yep. That's what she was referring to, Rosalind. She did say in the beginning of the book she had trouble making decisions. Okay, so she said that she see I don't remember that part. But okay. That makes sense. Very unbelievable. And I think that was the part that, like, that's the reason, that's the whole purpose. So we now know that she's the one who cut the brakes on her husband's car, right? And she was the cause of him passing away. Well, what I didn't mention to you guys is that when she came from the store, I think the second time when she came from the store, it might have been the first time, Poppy was at her house. She gets a knock on her door. Was Poppy there? I think Poppy was there. She gets a knock on her door, and y'all, it is Marnie. Marnie is a lady, and Marnie is there, and Marnie is like, hey, she's like, hey, who are you? She was like, oh, Grant was my husband. And Alice is like, your husband? She's like, yeah, we got 8 kids together. We got 8 kids, 8.5 kids, and I'm here to collect because she's getting everything. And so the way that Marnie was like, girl, you don't have all these kids. I have all these kids from him, and I need money. So of course, Poppy's like, oh, what are you gonna do? All this stuff. And then she eventually goes over to Marnie's house, and she sees all these kids. The kids, and it's almost like the kids were like putting on a show. So the kid is like, Mama, am I gonna be able to eat dinner? Now, when she came into the house, the kid had some ice cream or something he was sitting there eating, and he was like, Mama, am I gonna be able to eat something tonight, or am I gonna have to go to bed hungry? But they're saying all this stuff in front of Alice. So it was just like, so she sees all these kids, and then Marnie tells her that she's pregnant. So now that's 8.5 kids, right? That's what Alice says. So then so she's like, well, what do you need all that money for? I'm the one with all the kids. And so Alice is like, well, I'm pregnant now. I have, I'll be having a baby too. And Marnie's was like, girl, so what? That's just one baby compared to my 9. She didn't say it like that, but she said it. That's what she said in my words. Y'all. Mm-hmm. Miss Sharon Davenport, you're right. She had to be ditzy from the beginning. Because he did latch on. And so the way that she described him, like he was very polished, very, I kind of felt like maybe even from the beginning, he was always a little intense. But maybe to, win her over, he lessened that intensity. But I kind of felt like he was a little intense too. Like at the when she first started talking about him. Everything. Yep. It would have been buried with him. Yep, that dress. It sure would have been. I'm so far behind, y'all. Renee. That's what, so me too. Like, that's what, like, I didn't know that it was a satire before I bought the book. But when we decided on the book in the community tab, I went ahead and I purchased it. And then that's when I saw, because the cover says a satirical novella. So I was like, oh, we about to have some drama. And it's about to be some drama. So I knew from that point, but I still went ahead. And I was like, we're gonna read it together. We'll read another book next. And it wasn't that long. They said that I think Grant is the one who called in the tip. Like they kind of insinuated at one point, or maybe she said that he was the one who called it in. Somebody said that. But something somewhere along the line told up. My chip went down the wrong pipe. Hold on, I do a real cough, y'all. I think it was Grant that called in the tip. I think she kind of said that. Remember Grant? All right, y'all. So we talked about Marnie and the kids. She's a pretty decent person because she felt bad for Marnie and the kids, and she wanted Marnie to get something for the kids. So of course, Poppy is the one with sense. Poppy was like, "Girl, you better do. You need to get a paternity test. You need to make sure that those are Grant's kids." And that's what a friend would say. That's what a friend would say, especially you were married to him, and then you find out that he's married and he has like these teenage kids with her. Because, honey, Marnie had proof. Marnie had pictures of them and their family. Marnie had proof. So she, that's another thing that she really couldn't deny because she saw where her husband was taking pictures. And then did you guys see when she was like, she showed her a picture where they're like cheek and cheek together taking a selfie, and she was like, oh, Grant took a selfie? He told me he didn't even like selfies. He refused to take a selfie. So just certain things that should have been like red flags to her, like she really was not picking up on any of the clues, like at all. Like at all. Exactly. Not banana peel. Oh, Kristen, I did not even cover that. Okay, so Willie is the house guy. And supposedly she's the one, like they hired Willie and she ran a background check on him, right? Now, this is my problem. Not really a problem, but this is where I'm like, girl, you trying it too much because why would you run a not why would, because he's going to be working in the house, but you ran a background check on Willie and you didn't run a background check on Grant? Like, that's the part where I'm like, Grant didn't even know that she ran a background check on Willie. Now, you ran a background check on Willie because he's going to be working in your house and stuff, but you should have ran a background check on Grant, who you started dating. But you ran and then you moved into his house, maybe because he looked good. And because I think that was the whole thing. He looked good, he was successful. Maybe that's why, but you should have did a background check on him too. So she did a background check on Willie. Grant didn't know that she did the background check, or maybe he didn't know and she said that it came back clean. Well, Willie had been into some rough things previously. And so because of that, like she had been planning this because she was eventually going to, because she tried to, especially when the detective came, she was going to put everything that happened to Grant on Willie. Those were her intentions. So because he had an unsavory past, she felt like, oh, that's perfect. I can just, if anything ever comes up, I can put the attention onto Grant, onto Willie, the house guy, and that's what she tried to do, but she was unable to do that because the detective had already checked out Willie's alibi, like to see where he was, and apparently he was on a televised game. What type of sport was he playing or thing was he doing, y'all? I forgot. Hey, Jamie. Yes. This big crowd was cleaning with no shirt. I mean, he was cleaning, he was cooking without a shirt, he was doing all that without the shirt. He was doing everything. Yes. Oh my goodness, Felicia, have you read 11 of her books already? I do have a list of her books for me to read. I do have a book. I love James Patterson is probably like my favorite author. I love everything that James Patterson does. There's a few books that I don't really like that he's written. Um but I love everything that I generally love everything that he does. I love him as an author. I like Iris Johansson. There's a few authors who'll be like they're my go-tos, but I really love Freida McFadden. Like I like the Housemaid book. This book, because I started out knowing that it was gonna be shenanigans and foolishness, I can appreciate it a little bit more. Would I pick up another book like this? Unless we're gonna read it together like this, I probably won't pick it up. But because we're reading it together, I really like it. So yes, Delonda got us all into this author. So Delonda was reading the first Housemaid in her book club, and she was like, "Oh, you gotta read this book. You gotta read this book." And this is how we all end up with Freida McFadden. This is how we all ended up with Freida McFadden. But I really do like her style of writing. I do. Now, is some of the stuff predictable? She was making fun of herself. Some of the stuff is predictable, and not just her books in general, but they're still. I think they're good reads. I do. Ah. So Elba said she figured that it was his twin. I figured so when they did that and they were talking about the pictures, the husband and all this other stuff, and she kept saying that she saw somebody that looks like her husband. That's when I was like, okay, it's his brother. Like he has somebody out there. Well, apparently Grant the so the person who was following her, from what we get, is we apparently she feels like somebody's at her house inside of the hedges, and Grant always keeps the hedges so nicely, and she notices anything out of place. But first of all, Grant wasn't the one doing the yard work. It was Willie, right? So that kind of made me like, Freida, I know Grant isn't doing, he's paying Willie to do the yard work, but he's getting the credit for it. And then she just felt like something was a little bit off. So then she goes over to the hedges. I think she goes and picks up like a stick or a shovel or something and heads over to the hedges because she knows somebody's in the hedges. Out comes somebody who looks just like her husband out of the hedges after she goes out over there. Now he looks just like her husband, and now we know that it's not her husband, or at least, for the sake of this part of the story, it's not her husband. It is her it is her husband's twin brother that she didn't know he had, because he told her that he was an only child. And she didn't do a check. Like, you never met anybody in his family at all. You didn't do a check on him, a background check like you did on Willie, so that you could frame Willie when you realized that you wanted to get rid of this guy. Like, come on. I like Danielle Steele too, Marta. I like Danielle Steele too. Girl, Marnie had 99 children for her husband. And she didn't find that strange that she's just now finding out that Marnie has all these kids, and she's been, you're just finding this out. Like, you didn't think that was another thing. So he comes out of the bushes, and like the lookalike comes out of the bushes, the twin brother, and she's like, oh, Grant, and he's like, no, his name is Brant. His name is Brant. And so now she's faced with Brant. Brant has a mole that's different from Grant. So that's how she's like, okay, so maybe it's not Grant. He does have a twin brother because he has a mole here on his face. So, they're identical, but that's the one difference that they have, is the mold, or the mole. Let's see. Let's see what you guys said. Yep, those kids were trained. Oh, girl, Elba, we talked about the IUD lights. It was so, it's, yes. Grant said he did it. That's right, Kristen and Renee. So, okay, so now we kind of we're up to the point to where now she sees the twin brother. Now the problem that I have was, okay, I found it strange. Let me go to my next page of notes, y'all. Okay. Oh wait, did y'all peep when she said that she told Poppy that she was pregnant? I wrote this down because I thought this was funny too. She told Poppy that she was pregnant, and so Poppy was like, um, did Poppy say you don't look far along? Poppy was like, you don't look that far along. She was like, what? Wait, what are you, like 7 months, 8 months? So then Alex is like, I'm 6 weeks. Poppy was being real shady, telling that girl she looked like she was 7 or 8 months, and she was only 6 weeks. Poppy was shady. I don't know if Poppy really was her friend, or was Poppy really working for Grant and Grant, because that was not very friendly. Like, it was not very friendly. Like, oh, can you guys not hear me now? Oh, have I been talking? You guys still can't hear me? Shoot, no, that was not her husband in those pictures, even though he was a twin. Exactly. Exactly, Felicia. How did she know? So, but I felt like Alice was, first of all, Alice. Now I'm gonna take it out from being as serious as like from being funny. My problem with Alice is that, so when she met Brant's telling her all these things like, oh, what was it? They like Nickelback. Now Brant's telling you all of these things that you like, that, but he likes it too. One, that was a red flag. Like, your brother didn't like Nickelback. You like Nickelback, but like, why is Nickelback even coming up? Because that was Brant. So by this time, she realizes that Marnie is Brant's wife. But Brant has been lying to Marnie all these years, telling her that his name is Grant. So he's pretending to be his brother. So that is why Marnie thinks that she was married to Grant, because Grant has been saying his name is Grant. Okay, so Grant doesn't have, those aren't Grant's kids, those are Brant's kids, the brother's kids. So he's telling her all these things, and she's like, oh, I love, like, oh, I like Nickelback too, and everything that he says, like, it's to play on her. And so I was so mad with her at that point, because, girl, you're not that dingy. You remember, that this is a setup, right? Because by this time I already knew that it was a setup. So I'm like, you already know this is set up. Like, what are you? Oh no, and then now she's already in her head. Girl, you just got out of this bad relationship with this man, with y'all blue and black and white and gold war situation going on, and he started treating you bad after that fact. You've only been a widow, already ready to, like, get with the brother, the twin. Like, are you serious? I was so disappointed in her at that point. I was like, girl. And then he comes in. Now you got rid of all of those dresses, and this man who you can't stand, your ex, your deceased husband, you didn't get rid of his clothes, but you got rid of all those dresses, and supposedly you did all this stuff to him, and you didn't. So then she invites him to come back for dinner, because she's looking at him now as more than just a brother-in-law. So she invites him back for dinner. Now, let me tell you how low down and dirty she is, though. Now, she ain't that dingy. She knew that this man had 9 kids, 8.5 kids over there at that house, because he had already told her that they had all these kids. And at one point he said he loved kids or whatever. She did say that she was pregnant, whatever. But you knew that this man had all of these kids at that house. Now, you wanted to, when you thought that these were Grant's kids, you were ready to give away your inheritance. You were ready to share it. But you knew this man had all these kids over there at that house, 8.5 kids. The lady's pregnant. You knew that. You knew that he had been lying to her, telling her that his name was Grant and not Grant. He wasn't even honest with her. But you ready to feed him? You ready to have him come over to your house, come back so that you guys can have dinner together? Knowing that he has hungry kids who just have ice cream at that house, and they were worried about the electricity, not being able to have electricity, because I don't know if they shut off electricity daily, but they were acting like they shut off the electricity daily. Now, I didn't think about how this, but just thinking about it and repeat, something was really, really wrong with Alice. Something was really, really wrong with her. Really wrong with her. Yes, yes. Thank God. Okay, I gotta scroll down because I'm too far behind. James Patterson is my all-time favorite. Okay, perfect. You guys get here. They even kiss, and so you're kissing now. You're married to this guy, and remember at the beginning she was saying when they got married, like how that kiss was just the best kiss or whatever. So now now you're with the brother, you kissed him, and now it's like, oh, Grant hasn't kissed me like this before. Like you're like, Alice, you need to go back to Wonderland, because this gotta be Alice from Wonderland. It had to be Alice from Wonderland. What did Mister say? Those were red flags right there. Those were red flags. That was, I can't even say she had a guard up, but that was for her to, lower her guard. But I can't even say her guard was really up, because it really wasn't. She really wasn't. And she still was, Elba. I was like, And you know Marnie is back at the house with all those kids. Marnie didn't know. At first, I thought that Marnie had something to do with it. Like I thought that Marnie was in on it, but Marnie really didn't know. Marnie was probably the most innocent out of everybody in the book. I felt bad for Marnie. I felt bad for Marnie because she didn't know. So they go in, you know, they're having their dinner or whatever. She's thinking they're, you know, they have so much in common, and you know, she's already thinking. Imagine that's how you know something wrong with her. She's already thinking about their future. She's already thinking about a future with Grant. That was just too weird for me. It was just too weird for me. She was already thinking about it. Yes. So whatever he had on, he then asked her, "Oh, first of all, y'all, what do you guys feel about when he was like, oh, can I change into something else a little, you know, whatever? I forgot what he said, but he wanted to change, but he wanted to go get into some of Grant's clothes because at this time he's still Grant. He wanted to go get into Grant's clothes. So now he's gonna oh yeah, he still has some stuff up there. And she's saying how, you know, how Grant was very particular about his clothing and stuff like that. Alice. That would have been a red flag. She ignored all the red flags. Hey, Miss Sonia. Like, girl, you literally just met him. Secondly, he has been following you around, being very creepy. He lied to his wife. His wife doesn't even know his real name or who he is. Mm-mm. And then she made a comment. Because one, why was he following you like that? If you're a brother, right? If you're a twin brother, any brother, sister, go knock on the door. That's your brother's house. Go say, hey, you know, we never got a chance to meet all these years that you've been married because my brother was a weirdo, but I'm his brother. How are you? You like, do you need anything? You know, let's support each other. Go knock on the door. But you're following around, standing at the window, hiding in the bushes and all this stuff. She didn't think of any of that. I mean, she did say that her gut told her, she said, despite all of those other things, or like despite, you know, what was actually happening, her gut told her to trust him. I could have threw the phone, y'all, when she said that. Despite all of those other things, despite knowing that he's been lying to his wife about who he is, despite following you all over town, despite any of that stuff, your gut told you to trust him. Y'all, when I tell y'all I was so disappointed with her. I know it was the purpose, but I usually like to do character analysis, and I was just so disappointed with her. Like, girl. And then, okay, we already talked about when she went to the wrong house. So that's what I was like. I talked a little bit about it earlier. I asked you guys, like, if you guys felt like Poppy was a figment of her imagination. Like, did you guys feel like that? So we'll talk a little bit about it later in a few, because we're gonna get off in a few because I gotta go take a nap. So Brant goes upstairs and changes into his brother's clothing. And then he comes back downstairs. And so she looks at him, and that's not Brant, because he comes back down and he mentions the dress to her about a blue or black dress. So now somehow I forgot how he said that it was him. Somebody refresh my memory. How did he say that it was him? When he came back downstairs, I remember she knew it was him. I think it's just that she knew. And then maybe he wiped the mold away. And that's when he told her that he called in the tip about her, about the line being cut. So when he comes back downstairs, he has on his Grant outfit. So now he can actually be Grant. Okay, so now he's not Grant. So what happened is that apparently his brother would always come to him for money. So it was her husband that she was looking at that point. The brother, Brant, and at that point she had already told Brant that she was pregnant. So now Grant, he probably felt like at that point, he probably was like, oh yes, I'm finally gonna have a kid, because that's what he wanted. He wanted a baby. So he went upstairs and became himself and like, oh, I don't have to pretend no more. Because he was like, oh, things are going to change around here now. You're having a baby, all this other stuff. So what he did was he really, supposedly he didn't really care about his brother. And so he gave his brother that car. And so it was his brother, Brant, who was in the car when the brakes gave out and not him. Yes. Exactly. If he had never been to the house, if he had never ever been there, she never met him. Exactly. How did he know where to go? Oh, I forgot that too. Kristen, I forgot that part. So one way that they identified, like he showed her a picture of him and Grant when they were younger. So that's how she knew, okay, he has a twin, the mole. But he like wiped that mole away when he revealed himself and was like, oh no, honey, it is me, Grant, your husband, that you tried to kill. And then that's what they had. Supposedly they had some study where one of them went up to space, but he was just lying. So now I don't even know if it's the truth, but it's out that, Brant is Grant. Brant was in the car. And then Poppy, something happens. Were they tussling or something happened? Something happened. And then Poppy comes over and then Poppy offs Grant this time. Poppy. So Poppy had to be real. Poppy had to be real. So Poppy comes over. After all that happens, they go outside. They dig a little spot in their backyard for Grant to go in. Bury him. And then that's when Poppy realizes that Alice is not pregnant. She just has COVID. Because instead of her getting a pregnancy test, because clearly Alice doesn't read anything, she picks up a COVID test instead of a pregnancy test. And she's positive for, like, Alice, how old are you? You mean to tell me you are an adult and you swabbing your nose for a pregnancy test? Yo, when I tell you, it was just I didn't even brush anything in, but I did get rid of the dots. I'm gonna make Chris the shirt. I might make it during So Good, or maybe I'll make it. I'll start brushing it in. But I need to take a little nap and eat some dinner. But y'all, we need to see what our next book is going to be. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so she opened the gift that he had, and it was the dress. And then he asked her, he was like, what color is this? Or something like that, right? Y'all. But you so desperate. You want to be with him. You just want to be with somebody, not him. Because ain't no way you invited this man back to your house to have dinner with you, not under the premise that this is your brother-in-law. You just want to get a chance, especially now just knowing, that your husband had a twin brother. Maybe you're a little curious, you want to know a little bit more about, their upbringing and where they came from, because clearly your husband has been lying to you, right? You did not that, but because you're looking at him as a potential partner. Girl. So she opened that gift and it was a dress. And he asked her what color. Girl, what color is this dress? What color do you see? That dress. What color do you see? Yep. He knew. He said he knew. What did Jenny say? Her morals are to be expected because she was planning a murder. Alice is a rotten egg as far as her gut. The girl doesn't know the difference between And she was standing by that LED stuff, y'all, because we had to hear about the LED lights from very early on. Poppy came with the shovel. Oh, y'all. You cannot even make this like this was just different. It was different. It was very different. Very, very, very different. So, okay, so now wait, and then y'all, she hears that. So they have him in the backyard. They have him buried in the backyard. Her and Poppy are back in in her house. Poppy, that's when Poppy realizes that, girl, you got COVID. And now Poppy's pissed off because now you've exposed me to COVID, talking about you pregnant, and Poppy was in and out of that house all the time. So Poppy wasn't too happy about that. She wasn't too thrilled about that. So after that, Poppy goes home, and what's her face, and Alice, she goes to sleep, she's resting or whatever. She had a good night's sleep. She was like, she thought that her husband was gonna come out like a zombie and get her in the middle of the night. That's what she thought she was going to feel like. But she slept very well. That this was like the best night of sleep that she's had in years, okay, and forever. She wakes up in the morning, she's waking up feeling good about herself, right? Her and Poppy handled their business. But then she hears the shower running in her room, in her bathroom. And y'all, out comes Grant the Third. So apparently, in the photo that Grant had showed her, it was the two twins, but the photo was folded. But when you open that photo up, it was really three of them, identical triplets. Y'all, like, you literally cannot make it up. Literally could not make this up at all. At all. I don't even know how Freida made this up, but she did. She absolutely made this up. So, yeah, y'all. That's what we read. The widow's husband's secret lie. This secret lie. Let me see what else you guys said. Oh, let's go. Okay, so what did you guys answer Kristen's question? Because that's what I was gonna say. I was already thinking of. So you have Grant, Brant, and it has to be Rant. Drant. I mean, there's. What do you guys think his name? Because it has to rhyme. It has to rhyme. It has to rhyme. It does. What do you guys think it was? You had Grant, Brant, Slant. But I wanted to be like, I wanted to be, I want their first letter to be, but everything else is rant. It could have been Grant, Brant, and Rant. Could have been Rant. Could be. Yo, this is a hot mess. Uh-huh. But that, so okay, so let's think about this. So what if that was actually still Grant in a shower? And maybe he sent the other brother over to act like it was him. What if? What if she did end up with Grant? And the twin, the other triplet who was pretending to be Brant, or maybe that really was Brant. And then the other triplet was the one who passed away in the car. I mean, so many possibilities. So many possibilities. I'm gonna go with this one more time, y'all. Let me see what you guys said. And we're gonna get ready to wrap it up soon. But let's see what we're gonna watch, what we're gonna read next. Tracy, there were three of them. Three of them. I mean, now that's the one part. The rest of it, I was moving along right along with it. I kind of figured it out. But that part, when it was like a trip, I'm like, I wasn't thinking that far. Yes. Miss Sharon Davenport said Trent, France, Strant, Rant. Kristen said she's sticking with Slant. Krant. I was thinking Rant too. You know they were, Felicia, you know that story, they were lying about that story. Because he never mentioned the third brother. Remember, Brant just said that they were identical twins. He was. And not Roberta. Because the whole Poppy thing, that's I was trying to figure out, like, if Poppy. Oh, you know what we forgot to mention, because I have it here. So, of course, we already talked about Brant being everything that Grant wasn't for her. But remember, Mancini died in the robbery. So Mancini was the detective, And so he ended up passing away in a robbery. So he was the only one that was like really on top of, investigating. Um, no. He was the only one investigating whether or not foul play was involved, right, with Grant. Well, he passed away in a robbery that night. So there was nobody left to investigate what happened to Grant, what really happened to him. It was just very, very, very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting read. Just when they saw the whole thing was a weird dream. It was crazy. Felicia said Grant, Grant, and Grant. That's what it seemed like. That's exactly what it seems like. Grant, Grant, and Grant. It was just weird. Because I'm thinking that Grant, he sent the other brother to the house to pretend like he was him. When they killed that brother, then he showed back up. Because he came in and took a shower. He was in there taking a shower that morning when she woke up. Oh, because she finally did go. She finally did go upstairs, in the attic. He found like a weird book that Grant was writing. What else did she find, y'all? She found a book that Grant was writing. A little cat was up there that had gotten in through the window and left out. Yes. I thought so too. I thought something weird was gonna be upstairs. But apparently he had been going up there. Maybe he was up there when she was hearing all those noises. The cat running the room. Mm-hmm. Like she put certain things with housemaid, like the attic, Willie being the housemaid. And remember, in the housemaid, it was Millie. And then it rhymed with, like it was just too much of a coincidence, like different things. Like she just put things together. That's why I felt like she was a little clever in how she did this book. But mm-hmm. I'm honoring. Yeah, y'all. That was our book. That was our book. I'm gonna let me see what's the next book. Let's see what our next book is. One second, y'all. One second. Mm-hmm. So our next book is supposed to be, uh-oh, I can't even get to it. Hold on. I'll turn it down. I'm just going based off of the poll that we did. And then if you guys want to come, do you guys want to just pick one of the books that's already on the poll, or do you want to do like a whole new list of books? If you do, because I was just gonna pick the like one that's on the poll. I don't want to do live. Okay, I see it. All right, so it is. So we have The Boyfriend, Never Lie, and The Locked Door. Those are the other three books that was on our list. And the second one with the most votes outside of The Widow's Husband's Secret Life, or Lie, it was Lie, not Lies. Never Lie. So the next one we're gonna do is Never Lie. I haven't read that one yet. See, Stacy, now you know what the whole book is about. Okay, so the next book is going to be Never Lie by Freida Mcfadden. Now, after Never Lie, like Never Lie and The Widow's Husband's Secret Lie had the most votes. The Widow's Husband's Secret Lie had 39% of the votes, and Never Lie had 32% of the votes. And then the next two books are The Boyfriend, The Locked Door, and then The Boyfriend. I actually voted for The Locked Door when we voted. But they have The Locked Door and The Boyfriend, but we're gonna go with Never Lie. After Never Lie, if you guys want to switch authors, like if you don't want to read, if you want to read something, if you want to do something else, I mean, we can maybe create another poll. Then, we can keep The Boyfriend and The Locked Door on it, but we can add two other books in place. And the books, they don't have to be Freida Mcfadden. I do think that she's an easy read. Never Lie. So we'll do Never Lie. We'll talk about it. Even if you read it already, you got to come to our book club meeting so we can talk about it. And the next time, I'll factor out Never Lie and The Widow's Husband's Secret Lie, and then we'll put it in place. Now, I usually read my books really fast. If I read it on audio, I read it fast. If I listen to audio, I read it fast. If I read it and it's really good, I'm going to be immersed in it. So tell me the time frame that's good for you guys for us to have our book club meeting. At a Cobb. Martin said Locked Door was good. Kristen said Locked Door was good. That's what I voted for. Oh. See, I voted for The Locked Door, but we didn't win that one. So 31 of you voted on that. Wow. I really wasn't expecting it. Like, sometimes we feel like there's a few of us that are doing, but I think more of us read it. So even if you don't discuss it with us, still read it, and then you can come back and listen to us talk about it. Okay. So when do you guys think? Do you think like a month? Do you think like 2 weeks? Let me know. What do you guys think is a fair amount of time? Because I do want, like, I know that, especially for Freida Mcfadden, her books are super popular right now. And so if you're checking it out from a library, you may have to wait, like how we experienced with this book. A few of you guys had to wait, and that's why, even though it was this quick read, I wanted to be fair to give everybody the opportunity to read it so we could talk about it. 2 weeks for the short ones, okay. And then 2 weeks is good. But that's the only thing, like if it's a book that I don't know, but I don't know how long the wait is. Okay. I don't know how. So we can. Okay. So we'll do that. Felicia, that's a good idea. So the day is 7 hours for the audio. Oh snap, girl, Stacy. I will listen to on my way, but I don't. I'm gonna see if it's. I'm gonna look at what it's about and see if it's something that I want to listen to or I want to read. But I've been kind of busy, so maybe reading, maybe listening to it will be better for me anyway. It will probably be better. I'll probably listen to it. Y'all, crocheting and listening to books. I'm in heaven doing that. Like it's so relaxing. Listening to the audiobook with my favorite pillow, with my crochet hook and my yarn in my hand. I still crochet slow, but it's so relaxing. Okay. Kristen, did you already read Never Lie? Yes, JD. I can listen on my way to work. I don't really drive much, but like when I go to work and from work and I'm in the car, like going to work, it maybe takes me like 35 minutes. So I can listen going, coming, going home. I can listen during my lunch break. Uh, Obviously, she doesn't like the voices. That's what Jim said. Jim said she could not listen to Alice's character while working. So we'll do a check-in. I'm gonna get Neverline now, and then we'll do a check-in. I'm gonna take like a hour and a half nap before so good. Mm, I'm gonna get it now. I had a book that they recommended. I'm gonna see if you guys read it. Let me see if it still comes up. Oh, y'all. Let me see if it comes up. I'm just gonna order the book. 1 second, y'all. Oh no. Oh, what are you doing? Okay. 1 second. We're gonna get off in a minute. Um, Never lie. Okay. Oh. Oh, The Missing Wife by Sue Fortin. Have you guys heard of that before? I wonder, let me see. Maybe it's not good. Hmm. There's quite a few. Oh, Freida has one, The Wife Upstairs. She likes for those wives to be upstairs, y'all. The wife was probably upstairs in the attic. All right, let me see. All right, Never Lie. All right, we're good. So, and I'm gonna listen to it. It's like 7 hours, 7 hours and 20 minutes. I'm gonna stay for it now. You guys want me to read you what it says? I'll tell you what it's about in case you want to read it. I asked a question. Wait, hold on Facebook so good. You can ask questions on Facebook so good. So this is what Never Lies about. So we'll read the summary of it. So, okay, hold on. Well, this is an Apple's book review. It's not really saying like what it's about. Okay, this is from the publisher. All right. So newlyweds Trisha and Ethan are searching for the house of their dreams. But when they visit the remote manor that once belonged to Dr. Adrian Hale, a renowned psychiatrist who vanished without a trace 4 years earlier, a violent winter storm traps them at the estate, with no chance of escape until the blizzard comes to an end. In search of a book to keep her entertained until the snow abates, Trisha happens upon a secret room, one that contains audio transcripts from every single patient Dr. Hill has ever interviewed. As Trisha listens to the cassette tapes, she learns about the terrifying chains of events leading up to Dr. Hill's mysterious disappearance. Trisha plays the tapes one by one. Late into the night, with each one, another shocking piece of the puzzle falls into place, and Dr. Adrian Hill's web of lies slowly unravels. And then Trisha reaches the final cassette, the one that reveals the entire horrifying truth. That might be a good one. I like stuff like that. They're gonna be stuck in the house. They're gonna be stuck in that manor, secluded away from everybody, with the storm happening around them. Kind of like The Crash, but different characters. They're gonna be listening to the cassettes of Dr. Adrian Hill. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really, really good. Yes. Miss Sharon Davenport said it was really good. I can't wait. I can't wait to start it. I'm probably gonna start it tonight. But that's gonna be our book. Stacy, what was the question? Are you asking it on So Good on the group? Oh, I've read tons of V.C. Andrews. Yes. Oh my goodness. When I was a lot younger, I've read a lot of V.C. Andrews. It was really, really good. Okay, I'm gonna start reading it tonight. No, I like V.C. Andrews. Even the Lifetime movies that they did based on some of her books, some of them were pretty good. What was it? Flowers in the Attic. And then there were all the other ones after Flowers in the Attic. They were pretty good. They were good. They're asking for a link to like a product or something. Let me check with Delonda. I can't tell you an answer until I talk to Delonda. We promised to make decisions together. Yeah, I'll check with her. I'm gonna talk to her. I talked to her. Actually, she's gonna kick my butt. I think she. Oh no, she sent me something. Oh my goodness, Mr. C. That was yesterday. I'm gonna check with her when I see her. When we go live, I'll check with her. I'll ask her beforehand, and we'll have an answer for when we come on. I mean, if it's a link, I don't think it will be a problem, but I don't know. I know in my group, I'm very I don't really allow a lot of links in my group, but I don't know if that's gonna be fine. But I'll check. Don't worry. I'll check. Yeah, I'll check with her. Yes. 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 Hey, Robin S. We're all done. We're all done reading. We're going over our latest read, which was the widow's husband's secret lie. That title was so long too. That title was super long. The widow's husband's secret lie. So we finished that. Now we're gonna read Never Lie. I already downloaded it onto my phone. So I'm excited about reading that. And in 2 weeks, I will see. We'll do a check to see. I know some of you have already read it. So in 2 weeks, we'll see where everybody is at who didn't read it like me yet. And we'll plan then. Just in case, you had to wait for it to become available. For the links, yeah. Yeah, then yes. All right, so Kristen's gonna get it. Okay, another question. Would you guys rather us put our pics of all swim projects on So Good instead of each Facebook group? You can. That would be fine. But let me write down these things because I'm gonna write it down so that way I could check with her. I mean, we'll see. So it was about links, which I don't, because I know I don't even really allow like TikTok videos or things like that. So links and posting, where to post. Thank you, Stacy. These are all very, very good questions that we need to be very, very clear about. So thank you so much. Where to post and fix. Or Facebook groups. All right. All right, y'all. This has been so fun. Thank you guys so much for participating. Again, the next book is going to be Never Lie by Freida Mcfadden. We are just going on the list from the poll in the community tab. We will probably, next time I'll remove those two and remove the two that we read, Never Lie and Secret Lie. And then we'll add two more in that place, and then we'll do another poll. So let's say we'll do a poll, and then we'll start factoring out books. It doesn't only have to be Freida Mcfadden books. We can read, it can be whatever, whatever you suggest. We'll put, make it where, we all vote for what we want to read. Okay. Okay, on Facebook group to post free patterns, because I'm not guilty of that. If it's a link, then maybe not. Yeah, but we could do a base, like, just let me know. Yes. Thank you, Stacey. Thank you, Miss Sharon. Leaf box, Anna. For April, it is. It's still time. It's still time for not for March though, but for April. Like not for this month, but for April it is. Thanks, Marta. No worries, JD. Miss Hoga group because they don't sew our machine. And then and I would Miss Sharon Davenport, I think too, like if you post in the other groups, like people, you have a lot of people who are still interested, like they're interested in it, but they may not be doing it, or they may be considering it. So when they see the things that you make, that could help them decide, or some people who they may not be in both groups, right? So that may help them to decide, or they may see something that you do and they may realize, oh, I didn't know I could do that with my machine, or you may help them out that way. So posting in both doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all. I don't think For me, it's not a big deal to post in both places, in the group and in So Good. Doesn't hurt. Never say never. Never say never. Okay, thanks, Berta. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Miss Merlinda. Felicia, are you saying we should read all of her books and then move to a new author? I mean, I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Like if we do I'm good. Like I can finish a book really quick. And then with this audiobook, like I could literally listen to it all day. Like especially on the Saturday or Sunday, I'll come in here and I'm working and doing stuff. I'll have that playing all day. Y'all gonna get a lot of voiceovers. Okay, you'll get a lot of voiceover videos because I'm gonna be listening to the books in the background and then making the stuff and recording it, and then I'm just gonna have to do a voiceover after that. But I could totally read it quick. So we can stick to the same author. That's a good suggestion. I did Danielle Steele. Never say never. Danielle Steele. Thank you, Marta. It sounds familiar though. Let me look at the cover. Never say never. All right, y'all. Danielle Steele. I'm just trying to see what it's about. Yeah, no, I don't think I read that one. It sounds familiar. My auntie, the one who gets on my last one, she is yay. She's a huge Danielle Steele fan. Like she loves Danielle Steele books. So that's probably where I heard it from her. I might have seen the cover at her house, but I didn't read that one. I haven't read that one. Yes. All right, y'all. Yep. Yep. You can post whatever in craftable things. So any crafty thing is fine. It's for all the crafty things. Yes. All right, y'all. I'm gonna take a nap before So Good so that I can function, and then I'm gonna eat something. But this has been super fun, and I'm gonna start reading Never Lie. I think I'll come back next week Sunday, but I know next week I'm gonna be very busy next weekend, so I don't know which day So Good is gonna be on, but we'll tell you. And then it's supposed to be on my channel, so we will see. We will see. But thank you guys. It has been fun. I love you guys. Thank you guys for doing something a little different that we don't generally like. We're usually just crafting, and this is very fun. I absolutely love reading. I'm just getting into audiobooks right now. So it is I'm trying to just get used to audiobooks, and it's fine to read audiobooks or listen to audiobooks. That's what I tell myself. I don't necessarily have to be reading the book off of a page or reading the story off of a page. So this is super cool. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for doing this and participating. Thanks, Fear Bear. Thanks, Evie, and see you later. All right, y'all. Later, y'all. Love y'all.